Chapter 15, That Nourishing Tea. The next day, Esme invites me over. "Shall I put on some tea?" she asks as we walk into her kitchen. I stare up at the "May the fish be with you" sign over the sink that I made for Henry after we watched Star Wars. It's a hot day, so Esme prepares iced tea. Reaching into the cupboard, she pulls out the strong shoulder mason jars. She smiles at me as she works, and I feel all warm inside because I just love Esme so much. Ruby trips on a stool as she crashes into the room. She tries to sit in a chair, but misses it the first time she tries. Sometimes that girl is like a walking wrecking ball. The front door opens and Henry comes in. Ruby charges him. "Daddy, did you catch me a fish today?" "Ruby, I caught you a whole box of fish sticks. How's that?" "Oh, Daddy." There they were, a box of them just floating there in the water. He laughs and kisses her on the head before reaching into the cabinet for a glass. Esme comes over and kisses him on the cheek. Bad jokes mean bad fishing. Yeah, other crews were reporting over the radio that the fish were biting at everything from bran muffins to belt buckles, but not us. "Daddy, fish don't eat belt buckles." He laughs. "They don't? No wonder I didn't catch a lot today." "So, how tough was it?" Esme asks. "Not the best, but we've been doing really good lately. So," he turns to me. "Hey there, Delcy. When are you going to come on the boat with me and spread some of that McHill fishing luck around?" I sit straighter. "I'll come if you ask me." He leans forward. "Well, I'm asking," he says. He's laughing, but I can see the worry swishing around inside of him. Looking up at the Massachusetts license plate on the mantle, ones from 1928 and 1929, I'm reminded of how superstitious the local fishermen are. When there were no fish in 28, they blamed it on the new design of the license plate. The next year, they demanded it be fixed, and the fish returned. I guess all fishermen worry about one bad day rolling into a whole bunch of them. "I'm betting, Delcy McHill," he says, opening the fridge and grabbing a bunch of grapes, "that you have the fish-whispering gift just like Papa Joseph and your mom, Melly." I look up so fast, I nearly spill my tea. "My mom liked to fish?" "Oh, yeah, she was good at it, too. A lot of people think fishing is about luck. It isn't. It's about instincts, and your mom sure had good ones. You know, there's the basics of finding fish. The fish like the rips or changes in the tide. If seagulls are circling or dive bombing in air, there are fish. Head out to sea before the sun is too high in the sky, because once the sun is up, the striper dive. They like the cooler water." But it was like Melly could just sniff out the fish. Your grandfather used to joke if she'd just sit on the bow of the boat, he'd only have to fish half the time. I am shocked. How come I didn't know this? He taps my nose. "I thought I'd tell you that since your Grammy told me you've been wondering about your mom." Henry spins away and scoops up Ruby. "How's my girl?" he asks. "You want to go outside and play some wiffle ball with your old man before supper?" And they are out the door before she can even answer. Of course it was a yes. Ruby loves to hit things, although she misses a lot. I look down at my strong shoulder jar, and I don't feel strong at all. I miss Brandy, and I long for my mother. How can you long for someone you don't even know? "So," Esme asks, drawing out the word. Her voice is soft. I think I must look goofy, like I want to cry. "Can I ask you a question?" I ask. She leans forward on her elbow. "Of course, anything." And all of a sudden, the question runs from me, or the courage to ask it does. I sip some tea, trying to come up with a different question that doesn't have to do with the reasons a mother would leave, or wouldn't stay. "You always call your tea that nourishing tea, but it's nothing but water and a bunch of dried leaves. That doesn't seem nourishing to me." Esme throws back her head and laughs. "You know, that's a very fair question, and I feel silly for never having explained it to you, Sugar Pop." "Explained what?" That nourishing tea is something my mother used to call it. I asked her a similar question when I was about your age, and she told me something I've never forgotten. When people are sad about things, or lonely, or angry, or confused, or any of the emotions that we people would rather avoid, they say sometimes try to chase those feelings away with the wrong things. But a good cup of tea can make us feel so much better. Wow, your mom really liked tea. She laughs a bit. It isn't the tea, Delcy. It's that the tea is often shared. That's when friends lean forward and look each other in the eye. They laugh. They do more than hear. They listen. They connect. And anything that matters in this whole wide world is about the connection. It's what makes all the hard stuff I talk about bearable. I nod. She leans forward and places her hand on my arm. Visiting with good friends like you, Delcy. I know that's supposed to make me happy, and I should agree, but I can't get what's caught in my throat unstuck. I stand up. I have to go. Grammy is probably wondering where I am. Her face questions me. There's so much I can't say. I can't tell her how Madre Seal coming back makes me curl up and pull the covers under my chin at night. I can't tell her one of my best friends has chosen a new best friend. And I can't tell Esme that I don't want her to be my friend. I want her and Henry to be my mom and dad. I'm glad they love me, but it feels like having the light of the sun, but not its warmth. Think about that message. It feels like having the light of the sun, but not its warmth. Symbolization there. It's been cloudy all day. When I step outside, rain begins to hit the ground like missiles, but nothing is going to stop me from training for the 5K run. I do a few stretches to warm up, thinking about the clouds, how they get darker and darker as they collect more water molecules inside of them. Then, when the moisture gets to be too much and the clouds get too heavy, they fall to the earth as rain. I feel like that lately. Heavy, like everything is building up and will end in some kind of storm. I study the abandoned house across from us. I wonder why the people left it behind. Did they figure out it wasn't a good house? Did they find a better one? Do they ever think about it now? I begin my run, hoping I can outrun being so lonely. The rain comes so hard, the earth can't soak it up. Swift rivers of it run along the curbs. Gutters become waterfalls. Puddles send water up on my legs as feet crash into the middle of them. The thing about the rain is that you can't stop it. It needs to find places to go. Our basement is made with thick walls of concrete, but I know after a storm like this, there will be water. And when the storm finally passes and the sun comes out, the water will evaporate and leave everything dry again. But you know that the rain will eventually return, because that is what rain does. Things that I'd rather not think about remind me of the rain. The thoughts seep into everything. They rise and overflow. They may recede for a while, but they always return. Chapter 16. A bowl of bologna. Or bologna. I come home with a pile of pictures taken with my new camera and start the wall of the left behind in my bedroom. I put up the picture of the abandoned house in my neighborhood, then the pictures of towels on the benches, deserted cars, and lost jackets, a sneaker, a baby stroller, and a t-shirt. I'm surprised how many things people leave behind. I wonder if they miss them later. The house is filled with smoke when I come downstairs, which means that Grammy is making fried bologna for dinner. Turns out that when you fry a piece of bologna in butter, it goes from a flat piece to a bowl shape. Grammy never gets tired of it. She thinks it's some kind of miracle. Then she fills hers with mustard. Lots and lots of bright yellow mustard. Ronan is coming over for dinner, and I wonder what he'll think of this. He arrives just in time. He has a Portuguese tart from his dad's favorite bakery to share with us. Grammy is so excited. You'd think she won the showcase showdown. We sit right away. Grammy leans over and pats Ronan on the shoulder. Well, Ronan, thank you for coming over to share our meal with us. It isn't fancy, but it's a favorite around here. That's okay, he says. I'm not that fancy, in case you didn't notice. Grammy laughs aloud as she scoops up a heaping glob of yellow mustard into her bologna bowl. Then another blob, and another. Ronan watched, but doesn't seem to react. Then he scoops out a blob of mustard, and another, and then unscrews the top of the pepper and pours some of that on top. It's almost like they're competing to see whose mouth will catch on fire first. I wonder if we have a fire extinguisher. Ronan eats more fried bologna than is natural. He eats it up like it's the best thing ever, and I wonder what his father makes for dinner. After Grammy and Ronan finish off the jar of mustard, I stand to clear the dishes, and Ronan gets up to help. You're a fine guest to help out like that, Ronan, Grammy says. Your parents have done a fine job. I think he means to say thanks, but it almost seems like he doesn't know how. When Ronan asks for a dish towel to dry the dishes, Grammy laughs. No need for that now. We let God dry the dishes here. She lumbers toward the TV. Well, she says, it's time for some Family Feud. Seems like a funny thing to wish for, Ronan says. You're a funny one, you know that? She settles into her couch and turns to Ronan again. Your dad must be waiting on you. You need to head home soon? Nah, he says. Then he turns to me. Want to play Monopoly? Our first game took about 4 hours. So, you won, didn't you? I mean, barely, but you won. Barely? I don't think so. I wiped the board with you. He smirks. Yeah, whatever. You want to play or not? We set up the homemade Monopoly game that my mother made out of paper when she was my age. The board is the real one that she found at a tag sale with Grammy for only 5 cents. So she decided to take it and make the rest. The cards, the money, and the deeds. Everything but the tokens. We use old coins that Papa found on the beach with his metal detector for those. I choose the buffalo nickel. Ronan chooses the bicentennial silver dollar. Whenever I use this game, I think about what it would be like to play it with my mother. I bet we would have been friends if we were the same age. Ronan gets lucky getting all of the yellows and greens pretty fast, but I end up with a bunch of the cheaper properties, so we trade money back and forth. The game lasts forever. When we're finally done, Grammy is asleep on the couch. I shake her shoulder a bit. Grammy, wake up. She moans and opens her eyes, looking about and gets her bearings. Oh, I fell asleep. What time is it? Midnight. Ronan needs a ride home. Or should he walk? Oh no, I fell asleep. His father must be worried sick. Did you call him? Yeah, I did, Ronan lies. He says it's okay. I look at him, but he won't look back. Grammy stands up. Well, I'll freshen up a bit and then we'll go. You two wait outside, but don't go disappearing on me. We head outside. So, I ask, why did you tell Grammy that you called your dad? He puts his hands in his pockets and walks in a small circle. I don't know. I know he does. I didn't want your Grammy to worry or be mad at me, and it makes no difference if I call my father or not. I can walk in at any time. Having no curfew sounds good, and then I begin to wonder if that's true. Chapter 17. Escape from the Cakes. I've just let Ronan in when Grammy calls from the kitchen. Delcy, honey bunch, I've got some chicken legs that are past due if you want them. Really? Excellent. Ronan looks at me like I've lost my mind. Why the heck would anyone want old chicken? I shake my head. The things you don't know about living on the Cape. Well, if it involves old chicken legs, I think I can wait. You'll see, I say. You're going to love it. Oh, yeah. Nothing like rotten meat to improve the day. When we reach at Gray's Beach, I open my bag and pull out the chicken, some string, and scissors. Here, I say, handing him the scissors. We need long pieces of string. He cuts the string, glancing at me. As I tie the string tightly around the chicken leg, Ronan looks over the side of the board. So we're here to catch stuff? Blue crabs. I see one, he yells as he points. And another one. He glances at me, glowing. They're everywhere. I give him a chicken leg, and I take one. We lower the chicken legs over the side and into the water. Mine lies on the bottom, but Ronan's is hanging in a deeper spot. I lean over. It has to sit on the bottom somewhere so the crabs can get to it. He looks over at mine and smiles. The crabs are running from all directions and climbing onto my chicken leg. Pull it up, Ronan says, leaning over the railing. Okay, here's the thing, I say. Once they're eating, you have to pull them up smoothly, but really fast before they fall off, because they do let go. Ready? Yeah, he steps up on another rung on the railing, hand over hand, just like pulling in nets on the reel. I pull up my string. 2 feet over the water, a crab lets go, then another. When the chicken reaches the railing, I have 4 crabs left. I lift the string over the railing and drop the chicken into a pail. I knock the crabs off with my hand and pull the chicken out for another round. Bending over, I say, wow, one of them is huge. Usually you can't catch those. Henry says it's a Darwin thing. They're big because they've figured out how to survive. Like if you've suddenly been lifted into the air, let go. Ronan reaches into a pail and pulls out the big one. We should name him Zeus. You can't name things we are going to take home and eat. Eat? Who wants to eat this? He looks like a mini alien. The crab pinches his finger. Ow, he yells, dropping the crab on the boardwalk. It must have heard you. The crab moves sideways, running for the edge, but it hits Ronan's foot. He jumps into the air and falls down flat. I pick it up from the back so its claws can't reach my hand. It grabs hold of the edge of the plank, but I pull it off. How'd you do that? He asks. I turn my hand and show him. They can't reach you. Well, most of the time. Sometimes a big smart one will figure it out and reach under themselves and get you. Just then, I get pinched and drop the crab, which makes another run for it. Ronan laughs hard. Really? I ask, going for the crab again. You're laughing at me? You're still lying on the deck after being taken down by something the size of a pancake. Ronan stands. I wasn't taken down. I was just resting. Then he reaches out to take the crab from me. He turns the crab toward his own face, looks it in the eye, and smiles. He bubbles. Yeah, they do that to keep oxygen moving through their gills. Now put it back in the bucket. Grammy will make some great crab cakes out of it. With extra tartar sauce. You'll love them. He looks at me. Really? She'll make crab cakes? Yeah, sure she will. He stares down at the crab, and then he lifts the crab and holds it about 6 inches in front of his face. He doesn't look tasty. Wait until you see him with buttered breadcrumbs. Buttered breadcrumbs. His mouth swings to the side a bit. Then he looks the bubbling crab in the eyes and says, I dub you with the name Darwin. And now you owe me one, Darwin. He winds up his arm and throws the crab well beyond the reach of the chicken on the string. It lands with a splash in the marsh. He tries to hide his smile, but doesn't do a great job of it. Wait, what? Why did you do that? He shrugs and smiles bigger. Sorry, he was beautiful and just such a good fighter. I had to let him go. It's okay. That was better than eating crab cakes any day, I say, thinking about how much Papa Joseph would have liked him. He would have said Ronan is a good soul, and I would have to agree. Chapter 18. Who watches you while you eat a sandwich? I'm so happy when Brandy calls me to ask if I want to come for lunch that I have to keep myself from cartwheeling into a wall. But with every bubble of happiness that rises inside, the little voice taps me on the shoulder. When I arrive at Seaside, I run into Ronan. "Hey," he says. I see Brandy and Teresa sitting down near the water at a picnic table already. "Hey," I say, "how are you doing?" He looks back over his shoulder. "Better than you, I think." "What do you mean by that?" He shrugs. "Nothing." He pulls some gum out of his pocket. "You want some?" "No, thanks. I'm going to have lunch with Brandy and Teresa." "Why?" "Because they asked, and they're my friends." "They are?" I look past him again. Teresa is looking in my direction, smiling. "Yeah, they are." "Hey," he says, "I'd love to eat with a couple of bull sharks, or maybe they're more like oceanic white tip sharks. Haven't decided yet." He looks up thinking, "I don't know. I guess Brandy would be a bull shark. They can go back and forth between saltwater and freshwater." "They're not that bad," I say, getting annoyed. "Not that bad" is not something you find in the Traits of a Friend book. Friend handbook. He pops a piece of gum into his mouth. "Suit yourself." And I just think that there's more to having friends than sitting around a table and letting them watch you eat a sandwich. I open my mouth to shoot back an answer, but nothing comes out. He tucks the foil wrapper in his pocket. "Just saying," he shrugs. "Well, see ya." I watch Ronan walk away for longer than I should, not so eager for lunch anymore. "Hey," I say, approaching the picnic table, noticing my feet feel like bricks. "Hey," Brandy says, and moves over to make room. Teresa smiles like a cat watching a mouse ease out of its hole. "Thanks for inviting me." "Her mother made her," Teresa says. Brandy turns red. They begin to unpack their lunches, which are both in the same cooler with a sea turtle on it. I look down at my brown paper bag. I pull out my root beer and pop it open. As I look at their fancy chicken wraps, I decide that I don't feel like eating a fried bologna sandwich in front of these two. "That was a blast last night," Teresa says. "Watching the fireworks from the beach was the best." "Yeah, it was pretty cool," and Brandy says. "Every town does theirs on a different nights all summer long, so you can always find them somewhere." Teresa turns to me. "Did you see them?" "Oh, yeah, of course we did." Thinking that answering Teresa's question feels like when school nurse went through my hair looking for lice in the first grade. Brandy stares. She knows we don't do stuff like that. "And then," Teresa continues, "we went to that fire pit pizza place out on the beach. So cool. Have you been there?" she asks. I hate pizza. Probably the only kid in the world, but I've never liked it. Brandy knows this, and yet I can't help myself. I look at Teresa. "Yeah, who doesn't love that place? We go there all the time." Now Brandy's head falls to the side, and she gives me a funny look. "But the coolest thing was the sleepover," Teresa adds. "I can't believe we stayed up until 4 o'clock in the morning watching that movie. Your mom is so cool." "What movie?" I ask. Brandy begins to answer, but Teresa cuts in, like my question is inconvenient. "Big. It's an old movie about a kid that wishes to be grown up and gets his wish from some fortune teller machine. It was pretty good." "I saw a good movie on TV. It was about this girl who..." Teresa interrupts, holding up her hand like she is stopping traffic. "Could you go get more napkins? Inside, please." I catch Brandy stifling a laugh. I don't get the napkins as I'm ordered to do because it would be humiliating. Then again, staying is humiliating too. They talk about other things they've been doing, things without me. I try to join in one more time, but Teresa talks over me until I give up. When I stand to say I have to go, they finally get quiet. As I walk away, my stomach feels awful, which is weird because I didn't even eat anything. The bubble of happiness I had for this lunch pops like bubbles do, instantly and completely. Chapter 19. Is that you? Let's play tourist today, I say to Ronan. Have you been to Holiday Hill yet? That place with the golf and stuff? Ronan asks. I nod. I wanted to go, but my dad said he's tired at night. Why, do you have money? Yeah, I do. When I help Granny clean rooms, she splits the tips with me. And also I have a bunch of free game coupons that we found in a room after the people left. So between the two, we should be good. I don't have any money, though. That's okay. It'll be worth it to kick your butt at golf. You think so, huh? You're a dreamer, Delcy. A dreamer. We run across Route 28 and straight into the arcade to pay for mini-golf. I choose the blue golf ball, and Ronan chooses the green. On the third hole, I make a hole-in-one and brag more than I should. I'm happy that I'm doing well at golf, but I'm mostly happy that I don't feel nervous to be around Ronan. I don't have to think about everything I say and do and then worry he won't like it. I don't have to lie about who I am. On the fifth hole, Ronan is leaping around singing some song about being the champion. He must have made it up because it's terrible. It's only the fifth hole, you haven't won yet, and I'm actually ahead of you. I envision myself accepting the trophy. I will be... And he goes on, but I don't hear a thing. All I can see is a woman with 2 kids who are much older than me. Her hair is frizzy and looks like the kind of hair that gets reddish in the summer. Just like mine. And she has a cleft chin and blue eyes, just like me. She looks like the woman in my old candy frame, as if she just stepped out into the world and looks just like her. Just like her. I stuff my hands in my pockets and straighten my back. Ronan is in front of me. I'm sorry about bragging so much. It's okay, Delcy. I'll spot you some points. I shake my head. No, it's okay. I would never get mad about mini golf. I look around at him. It's that lady, I swallow. I think she's my mom. Ronan turns and looks at her. You think so? Are those her kids? I don't know. We haven't heard from her in a long, long time. I mean, I guess they could be her kids. But you don't know that she's your mom, right? Just a guess? I feel like she is. She looks just like her picture, and the words catch in my throat. She looks just like me. I swallow again hard. Should I go talk to her? Sure, because if you don't, you'll regret it. Ronan is good at cutting to the truth. Looking down at my golf ball, I get an idea. I toss my ball into the bushes near her, and then I run over. And standing in front of her makes my stomach roll over and over. I lock eyes with her and watch to see if she recognizes me. How could someone not recognize her own baby? Hello, she says. Hi. Oh, sorry. I just came to get my ball. I bend over and reach into the bushes to get it, and then I stand back up. I lock eyes with her again, hoping for an answer in her face. May I help you? Do you need something? She asks, and the sound of her voice is like Esme's, all sweet and let me help you. I look at her kids and I wonder if I have 2 sisters. Are you my mama? I ask. One eye squints. Pardon me? Are you my mama? Is it you? I squeak like a little kid. Her lips press together and her eyes get sad and she shakes her head a bit. Oh, honey, I'm sorry. I'm not your mama. I have these 2 girls, but haven't had any other children besides them. By this time, her 2 girls are staring at me like I'm trying to steal their favorite thing. Are you sure? I ask, starting to cry, because you look like the picture, and you look just like me, or I look like you, so I thought that maybe... I thought you could be... I'm not. Really, I'm very sorry. But whoever is your mom, she is very lucky. Very lucky, I mumble. Very lucky. I drop my golf club and run. I run so fast that Ronan hasn't got a chance of catching me. I find myself standing in front of Amy's because it's Saturday. I'm sure she has no rehearsal. I knock on the door. Amy swings the door open. Hi, Dels. Then she gets serious. Wow, you look like you need water. You want water? I nod furiously. Come on in. No, I have to talk to you. Outside. She looks worried. Okay. When she comes back out with my water, I stop thinking about how to say it and just start talking. You know how at every open house at school, when the teacher meets your mom, they tell her, "Oh, your daughter looks just like you. She's your mini-me." And you smile because your mom is pretty great. Yeah. And you know how every spring you complain because you have to wear a dress and go to the father-daughter dance, but you always have fun? Yeah. But no, you know how you wanted to know what it's like to be an orphan? For real? I'm sorry, Dels. I shouldn't have asked that. I was just so excited. It's okay, Ames. I'm not mad at you. I just didn't know how to answer, that's all. And that's the answer. Never in my life will I go to a father-daughter dance. And no one will ever call me their daughter. And I'll never get to call anyone mom. That's what it's like. My hand curls into fists and my voice cracks as I feel the anger hit me like a giant swell in the water. I tried to hold it all, but I think I'm doing a terrible job of it. Even so, Amy stands shoulder to shoulder with me. Gee, Dels, that Tomorrow song probably doesn't cut it, huh? The sun will come out tomorrow, and I bet your bottom dollar and all that. It's terrible, isn't it? I mean, really terrible. And we laugh, and it makes me feel so much better. Thanks for listening. Catch you at the next chapter.